Michelle, are we recording?
So,
At this point in time, I'd like to open the Ventura
Get your
Local Agency Formation.
Get your mic on.
Commission
Your mic.
meeting.
Mic over here. Right on.
At this time, it's 9 o'clock on May 17th. I'd like to open the meeting for the Ventura Local Agency Formation Commission. At this point in time, if you could all rise, we'll have pledge of allegiance. Jenny?
Hands on your heart, repeat after me.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Okay, item number 3, roll call.
Commissioner Avila? Here. Commissioner Crosswhite?
Here.
Commissioner Correll?
Here.
Commissioner Parvin?
Here.
Commissioner Rooney?
Here.
Commissioner Zaragoza?
Oh, excuse me. Yes. Wake up, John.
I'll verify, he's here.
Chair Richards?
Yeah, here.
Alternate Commissioner Santangelo?
Here.
Okay, item number 4 on our agenda is considering a review of the agenda. And any comments with regards to modifying the agenda? I have one I'd like. Inasmuch as Mr. Zaragoza is not going to be available later in the agenda, I'd like to be able to move item 19, the budget consideration, before item 10 on the agenda. Any comments?
And, excuse me. And Mr. Chair, I'd also like to, I'm going to have to leave about 10 o'clock, more or less. You know, we have the police memorial in Oxnard today at 10:30, so I need to attend that, so,
Very good.
thank you.
All right. Thank you, John. In that case, we will consider item 19 before item 10 on the agenda. Do we have any public comments with regards to any items on the agenda?
I received no speaker cards.
None? Okay.
Mr. Chair, I would like to read into the record some comments that were received after the packet went out, just so they are in the record.
That's fine. If you read those,
Sure, thank you. Regarding item number 12, LAFCO case file 2305S, sphere of influence review for the Bardesdale Cemetery District, a comment letter was received by Teresa Jordan. Regarding item number 14, LAFCO 2307S, the sphere of influence review for the El Rancho Simi Cemetery District, a comment letter was received from Teresa Jordan. Regarding item number 17, LAFCO 2310S, the Piru Public Cemetery District sphere of influence review, a comment letter from Teresa Jordan was received. And regarding item number 19, the recommended final budget for fiscal year 23-24, a comment letter from Teresa Jordan was received. Thank you.
all right, thank you very much, Guy. Moving on, we have the consent items 7 through 9 on our agenda. And any comments or interest to pull any of those items?
I'll move approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second.
Just comment, Mr. Chair.
Yes.
So I did not attend that meeting. I just want to clarify with council that I can vote on this even though I was not in attendance.
That's correct.
Okay, thank you.
Very good. Moving forward, we have a motion and a second. All in favor, you can signify by saying aye.
I'm,
Aye.
And any of those opposed? Hearing none. Thank you. Okay, as we adjusted the agenda, item 19, the budget, Kai, apparently having
Yeah,
technical
we're waiting on the
difficulties.
presentation. It's okay. So I can start off that this is agenda item 19. It's the recommended final budget for next fiscal year. As you'll recall, at the meeting of last month, the commission did adopt a proposed budget as is required by LAFCO law, and the next step is adopting a recommended final budget. The recommended final budget is identical to that was approved by the commission last month. There's been no changes, so I'll just do a brief overview of what was approved last month with the recommendation that the commission adopt the recommended final budget as the final budget for next fiscal year. That's okay. Sorry, I apologize for the delay. Okay, so we'll start there. Okay, item number 19. As I mentioned, the proposed budget needed to be adopted by May 1st, which happened last month, and the final budget by June 15th. These are requirements under LAFCO law. So as I mentioned, I'm just going to do a brief overview of what was approved at the last meeting, and we'll start with this fiscal year in review, beginning with expenditures. The LAFCO budget is divided into 3 sections regarding expenditures. These are total salary and benefits, total services and supplies, then contingencies, and of course, that's the total expenditures. So for the adopted budget for this fiscal year, we were anticipating expenditures of $903,892. As adjusted during this fiscal year, it remained at $903,892. We are projecting expending $863,650 this fiscal year for an estimated savings of $42,242 at the end of this year. Regarding revenue, the adopted budget anticipated $776,892 in revenue. This does not include appropriated fund balance. We are projecting revenue of $797,392 for a surplus estimated to be $20,500. And when the savings in expenditures and the revenue surplus are added together, we're looking at a projected fund balance of nearly $61,000. And LAFCO law does allow for fund balance left over at the end of the fiscal year to be applied to the next fiscal year. And that's what we will be doing here is applying that $60,000 plus an additional $40,000 for a total fund balance of $100,000 to be appropriated for next fiscal year. So here's the proposed, the recommended final budget, as a matter of fact, for next fiscal year. Again, expenditures include salaries and employee benefits, services and supplies, and contingencies. As I mentioned, the current year's budget was $903,892. We are proposing a budget of $974,242. This is an increase of $70,350 or 7.8%. This is a breakdown of those increases. For total salaries and benefits, we're looking at an increase from the adjusted budget for this fiscal year of $24,800. Services and supplies, an increase of $21,200. And contingencies, an increase of $24,350, and that's where we have the total of 70,350. And as I mentioned, this is an increase of 7.8%. Regarding financing sources, here again, the LAFCO budget is divided into three primary sources of funding. These are fund balance, a miscellaneous revenue, which is interest earnings and fees from applications, and then revenue from other agencies, which is, of course, our primary funding source. So regarding the adopted budget, we appropriated, the commission appropriated $127,000. We are recommending an appropriation of $100,000 for next fiscal year. We anticipated $7,500 in miscellaneous revenue. We are expecting more than $7,500 for next fiscal year, so we are recommending an increase of $11,000. Regarding funding from other agencies, we are recommending that increase from $769,000 to $863,000 and $242. This is about a 12% increase. So when divided three ways, it's about $30,000 for each funding category. And this results in the total increase from $903, $892 to $974, $242. And the recommendation is that the commission adopt a resolution approving the recommended final budget for fiscal year 23-24. I'd be happy to answer questions.
Mr. Chair.
Yes.
Mr. Chair and Kai and board members, I just want to thank you, Kai, you and your staff for an excellent budget. You know, every year, you know, you have a conservative budget, you know, and savings, you know, that really helps the LAFCO. And the fund balance, I think, is really healthy. That 60,000, what is it, about 2 months, 3 months worth? Is that normally what we have in the fund balance?
Right. We have, as far as unrestricted fund balance, we have 60 days operating capital, and then we'll have an additional about $160,000 at the end of the fiscal year.
And again, Mr. Chair, you know, and board members, every year that I've been with you guys, year after year, you always come out with a very, very conservative budget, you know, which I really appreciate. And that helps the cities too, and the county and the special districts, you know, to maintain some stability. But I just want to thank you, thank staff for that, Kai, for an excellent budget.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other comments? Mary Ann?
Just one comment. I know that at the Harbor District, we have to have a certain percentage in reserve by statute. So I'm wondering, does LAFCO have any of those kind of statutes where there's a percentage that you need to have in reserve?
No, it's up to each individual LAFCO to establish that. And that was part of the discussion regarding the proposed budget about whether our policies are sufficient to have adequate fund balance. And I did look into that. We can have that discussion now or during the executive officer's report. I could give you an update of what other LAFCOs are doing and whether I think what we have now is sufficient.
Any other comments?
Do we need a motion?
We need a motion.
Move approval, Mr. Chair.
But before we proceed, this is a
Any
public hearing,
speakers?
correct? Okay, I'd like to open the public hearing, and if there are any comments from the public?
We've received no request to speak.
No comments at this point in time. Okay,
I'll second that motion.
I made the motion.
okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
We're going to roll call. Roll call.
Do we need a roll call on the budget?
It's our budget.
No.
Wait.
Oh, okay. All those in favor signify by saying
Aye.
Aye.
All those in disagreement? Anyone? Hearing none. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. My agenda. Okay, item 10 on our agenda, municipal service review for the Ventura Regional Sanitation District. Andrea?
Good morning.
This is agenda item number 10, the municipal service review for the Ventura Regional Sanitation District. And every 5 years, LAFCO is required to review the sphere of influence, which is the probable physical boundary and service area of a local agency for each city and special district. And in order to update an agency's sphere, LAFCO must conduct a municipal service review of that agency. A municipal service review, or MSR, is a document prepared by LAFCO that covers a variety of topics related to an agency's functions. An MSR contains a discussion of growth and population projections for the affected area, location and characteristics of any disadvantaged unincorporated communities, the present and planned capacity of public facilities and adequacy of public services, the financial ability of agencies to provide services, the status of an opportunities for shared facilities, accountability for community service needs, and any other matter related to effective and efficient service delivery. The preparation of the MSR for the Ventura Regional Sanitation District is part of a long-term effort to bring current the MSR reports for all 28 water and wastewater agencies districts within the county. The MSR for VRSD is the 22nd of 28 that have been considered by the Commission since February of last year. The Ventura Regional Sanitation District, or VRSD, service area and sphere of influence are coterminous. You can see that on the map on the right. The yellow is the service area. The sphere of influence is the outline in red. And the service area includes all areas of the county excluding the cities of Moore Park, Simi Valley, and the surrounding unincorporated areas. VRSD was formed in 1970. It is a dependent district and is governed by a 9-member board of directors. The board consists of 1 member of each of the city councils of all Ventura County cities except for Moore Park and Simi Valley, and 1 representative of special districts. It provides water, wastewater, and solid waste-related services. Specifically, it's authorized to acquire, construct, and operate sewage collection, treatment, and disposal facilities, to acquire, construct, and operate refuse transfer and disposal facilities, perform wastewater and solid waste management, and provide retail and agricultural water services. Its population is about 686,500, and its jurisdictional area is just under 1,700 square miles. The VRSD provides limited water-related services. It previously operated the Oak Park Water Service in the unincorporated community of Oak Park on behalf of the Triunfo Water and Sanitation District. However, its services there are now limited to support and maintenance of that water system. The VRSD also owns a water well on property that it owns near the site of the former Baylord landfill north of Oxnard near Victoria Avenue. However, that property is leased to a flower grower, and that flower grower is responsible for the operation, maintenance, and reporting related to that water well. The VRSD also provides a range of wastewater services and support services, including wastewater collection system, cleaning and inspection, electrical and mechanical equipment repair, installation and maintenance, route abatement, permit compliance, public outreach and education, utility billing and collection, accounting and financial management, and customer service and professional services. The VRSD has contracts with many organizations which may change from year to year. The district's current water and wastewater customers include those on this list. That's the Cabrillo Economic Development Corporation, Camarosa Water District, cities of Santa Paula and Thousand Oaks, Ventura County Waterworks Districts number 1 and 16, Satacoy Sanitary District, Triunfo Water and Sanitation District, and the Malibu Bay Club. And this change reflects a significant change recently, in that VRSD's largest water and wastewater customer, the Triunfo Water and Sanitation District, last year modified its operations and administration to separate itself from the VRSD. And Triunfo still contracts with VRSD for some services, but no longer operates under the VRSD umbrella. The third service type provided by VRSD relates to solid waste services. Its primary solid waste services include operation of the Toland Road landfill, which is between the cities of Santa Paula and Fillmore. The district has operated that landfill since 1972 and has owned the landfill since 1986. And this is one of 2 active landfills within Ventura County. The other is the Simi Valley landfill, which is owned and operated by Waste Management and serves the Simi Valley and Moore Park areas. And that is the reason for the service area of VRSD excluding those areas of Moore Park and Simi Valley. The current VRSD customers related to solid waste are listed here on the left, which include Gold Coast Recycling Center and Transfer Station, Athens Services, EJ Harrison and Sons, some companies within the Santa Clara River Valley, and also residents of the Santa Clara River Valley who can bring their refuse directly to the landfill. The district is also responsible for post-closure activities related to 5 landfills within the county that have closed between 1972 and 1998. Those landfills include the Ozina landfill north of Ojai, Tierra Rejada landfill in western Simi Valley, and also the Baylord landfill, Coastal, and Santa Clara landfills in and near the city of Oxnard, south of the Santa Clara River. Post-closure activities include landscaping, irrigation and drainage system installation and maintenance, gas extraction, groundwater monitoring, and soil layer quality assurance. And when the Toland Road landfill closes in about 10 years or so, the VRSD will also be responsible for post-closure activities related to the Toland Road landfill. Staff recommends that the commission find that the recommended actions are exempt from the California Environmental Quality Act because there's no possibility that the preparation of an MSR report could have a significant effect on the environment. Notice was not required, but it was provided in order to encourage public participation in the MSR process. The hearing notice was provided in the Ventura County Star, on the Ventura LAFCO website, and outside the County Government Center. And no comments have been received on the MSR. Staff recommends that the commission accept the MSR for the VRSD and adopt a resolution making findings that acceptance of the MSR is exempt from CEQA and making all determinations required by LAFCO law. And that concludes the presentation for the MSR. I'm available for questions. And we also have the general manager of the district, Chris Tyson, who's here, also available for any questions you may have.
Thank you, Andrea. Any comments, questions? Yeah, Jenny?
I just have one question under the accountability section. It talks about the district offering live internet access and public participation opportunities for its meetings. That was the case during the height of the pandemic in 2020, 2021, and most of 2022, but you could check with the director. I'm not sure that that is currently the case. So it indicates in here, it suggests that it's still the case. I'm not sure if it is, so I don't know if Mr. Tyson would like to clarify that, but I just would like it to be correct because it is in both the staff report and the resolution.
Yeah, sure.
Does this refer to Zoom-type meetings and things like that?
Right, because the meetings were on Zoom and you could participate from anywhere during the pandemic, but that's no longer the case, correct?
That is correct. I'm sorry I missed that in the review.
Sir, if you could use the microphone.
Myself, but yes, our board voted to move to in-person meetings, and we do not do hybrid meetings at this time. So you're 100% correct. It is a little different than as it is stated. Of course, you have firsthand knowledge.
Can I ask a quick question? Where are you meeting now for VRSD? Your meetings, where are they held?
Right now, we're holding them at the location of the Baylord landfill in Oxnard. We vacated we used to be across the street over here on Partridge for years and years. As part of our cost-saving measures over the past several years, we vacated that facility. And so now we're holding our meetings right there at the meeting room.
At the Baylord.
At the Oxnard.
In fact, I'm the alternate for VRSD, so I'll be probably seeing you. Is that Friday?
The meetings?
Your meeting is, when is it?
Meetings are the first and third Thursdays.
But you have a meeting coming up soon, right?
June 1st.
Yeah, I'm going to be seeing you there because I'm the alternate to
Okay,
Councilman.
I'll make sure that we contact you and get you sworn in ahead of time.
Because
You may have, we may have your records from before. I know
I'm the
you're on
alternate
board
to
before, but it's a long
Councilman
time ago.
Perrello, so he won't be able to make. Okay, I'll see you there then.
I believe this is a public hearing item. I'd like to open up the public hearing. If there are any other comments, I do have a question from Andrea.
Should we just make that correction then in the MSR report? Is that?
I would think, since it's no longer the case, that it should be corrected. And it could be said that during the pandemic, there were live meetings, but that currently they're back in person.
Thank you for catching that.
Thanks.
Andrea, I have a couple of questions before you get away. Is VRSD serving the city of Carpinteria?
They are serving the city of Carpinteria. There are historical contracts that allowed for that to occur outside of actually, that was prior to 2001, so that predated the requirement for it to be within the district service area, and that contract remains. And I believe that they serve, or the VRSD serves Carpinteria through, is it Gold Coast?
Harrison.
Through Gold Coast, the transfer station.
The Harrison's picks it up, and they bring it to Gold Coast.
Right.
Which is still Harrison.
Okay.
So then it gets onto the transfer floor, and that's how it
We could have him on speaker. All right, thank you very much. The second question I have is that the lifespan of Toland is 10, 11, 12 years, something of that nature. Is the district working on how to accommodate where that material will be transferred to? I'm assuming Simi Valley Landfill is the only one left in the county.
That is the only other one left in the county, and we had that conversation, but the VRSD is not responsible for finding where that refuse would go next. Once the Toland Road landfill closes, it's responsible for operating that landfill, so that's a question that remains. I don't know that that's been resolved or that there are plans in place for a new landfill to be developed or for Simi Valley to accommodate the remaining refuse.
Any idea which organization would be the responsible agency?
I don't.
Okay, all right, thank you, appreciate it.
Mr. Chair, my understanding too is that Chiquita's going to probably be available over in LA County on the 26th, on the 126, potentially, anyway. Something to think about.
Say that again?
The Chiquita landfill on the 126 over in LA County.
saying Chiquita, the company.
No, that's not the banana, it's the landfill.
I mean, that was going to be a surprise to me if you were saying Chiquita was moving somewhere, so thanks.
Okay, Rochelle, any other public comments?
No, we've not received any comments.
Hearing none, we'll close the public hearing then. Thank you, Andrea. And do I have a motion?
I have a question.
A question?
Just a follow-up question. Are the board members listed on the website? Because there was a suggestion that the board members' names be on the website. I think that's a very good idea. I'm not sure if that's something we could encourage. And also, adopted minutes would be nice as far as transparency. I'm not sure. Would you like to comment on that, or is it your staff is so small that you're not able to do that? I don't know the status, but I think it would be great as far as transparency goes. Okay. Yeah, and public access to the meetings.
In terms of the website, we do have our board members on our website.
Okay.
VRSD.com. They're shown there now. And in terms of minutes, I don't think we post past minutes on there. I can look into that. I don't see why we couldn't, so
I
I'll
think
look
that'd
into
be-
that.
That's great, thank you.
Yes.
I think the recommendation was, the board members and their pictures are listed. It's the contact information. So if you wanted to get a hold of one of them, you have to contact staff to contact them. And so the recommendation here, as I understand it, is that their contact information would be posted on the website.
I'd like to hear your response to that, because that might be a little more complicated.
So I don't know historically why that isn't done. There may be a reason. Maybe it was to essentially by default refer people back to the home cities of the, or home agencies of the various board members. I don't know the answer to that. It's just always been that way. So we'll look into it, and if we can do that, we can also just make that change as well. I'll have to just check into it,
Yeah, you
and see
might,
if there was a reason for it. I
might
don't
be a
know.
good agenda item for your next meeting.
There you go.
Thank you.
Okay.
Any other questions or comments?
Well, I just pulled up the website, and if you go under the Board of Directors, you can click through under their title, there's a link, and it refers you back to the organization. So in this case, it happened to be the City of Camarillo. So it clicks you right back to someplace there. So whether or not that's sufficient in your mind, I don't know. But
Any other comments or questions? All right, thank you, Andrew, appreciate it. I'll entertain a motion, close the public hearing. at this
Since I
point in
had the
time.
edits, I'll make the motion.
Okay, we have a
That's
motion.
all right. So I would move that we approve staff's recommendations with the edits to, in the resolution, it's section F, bullet 2, and in the staff report, it was section 6, accountability, bullet 2, making the edits to the findings of the live meetings.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, have a second, any comments? Okay, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Anyone opposed? Hearing none. Thank you. All right, moving on to item 11, another public hearing. So,
This is item 11, the sphere of influence review for the Ventura Regional Sanitation District and follow-up to the MSR report. Again, here's that slide with background regarding the sphere of influence definition and information regarding municipal service reviews. LAFCO's required determinations related to sphere of influences are present and planned land uses, present and probable need for public facilities and services, present capacity of public facilities and adequacy of public services, the existence of any social or economic communities of interest, and for an update of a sphere of influence of a city or special district that provides public facilities or services related to sewers, municipal and industrial water, or structural fire protection, the present and probable need for those public facilities and services of any disadvantaged unincorporated communities within the existing sphere of influence. Here again is the map of the VRSD's sphere of influence and jurisdictional area. The existing sphere reflects the existing and probable service area of the district, and therefore no changes to the district sphere are recommended as part of this sphere review. The recommended actions are exempt from CEQA pursuant to section 15061B3 of the CEQA guidelines because there's no possibility that the preparation of a sphere review involving no changes to the sphere would have a significant effect on the environment. The notice of public hearing was provided as required in LAFCO law, and no comments have been received by staff. Staff recommends that the commission determine that the action to review the sphere of influence for the VRSD is exempt from CEQA and adopt a resolution making determinations to review the sphere of influence pursuant to LAFCO law, including that a sphere of influence update is not necessary. And that concludes the presentation.
all right, thank you, Andrea. Any comments from the commission? No questions or comments? I'll open the public hearing. Any public comments?
We have not received any requests for comments.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. No, okay. Hearing none, I'll close the public comments or public hearing. And any interest for a motion?
A second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. All those signify by saying aye. They're in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Hearing, anyone opposed? Hearing none, thank you very much. Okay, next on the agenda is item 12.
Okay, thank you, Chair Richards. This is agenda item number 12. It's LAFCO 2305S, a sphere review for the Bardsdale Cemetery District. So LAFCO staff consulted with district staff a few weeks ago to discuss the sphere of influence and to determine whether the district has experienced any changes to its service area or needs since the last LAFCO sphere review about 5 years ago. And if the district anticipates any service changes that would warrant adjustment to the sphere of influence and/or their boundaries. Forward to here, I'll skip the definitions and determinations. So the district owns and operates the Bardsdale Cemetery District located in the unincorporated community of Bardsdale, south of the city of Fillmore. The district sphere of influence consists of a range of uses. It includes the city of Fillmore and all the urban uses there, as well as agricultural and open space uses surrounding the city. Regarding the present capacity and public facilities, the district has the capacity to continue providing the services that it provides for several years to come. They have an existing above-ground vault for cremation burials, and they recently completed 2 additional vaults to increase that capacity. And they also have capacity for full casket burials, as well as about 2 acres adjacent to the cemetery that can be developed if necessary in the future. So we do anticipate that the need for these services are going to continue within the district boundaries, and that they do have the capacity to continue providing those services for years to come. So with that, we do believe that the sphere of influence continues to represent the existing and probable service boundaries for the district, and we are recommending no changes to the district sphere. It's exempt from CEQA, the review. Hearing notice was provided consistent with law. We have not, we received comments from Teresa Jordan, as I mentioned. Recommendation is the commission find it exempt from CEQA and adopt resolution 2305S, making determinations that reviewing the sphere and that no update is necessary. That concludes my presentation.
Thank you, Kai. Any comments, concerns? Yes, Mary Ann?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. In reading through the letter from Teresa Jordan, I have a couple of comments and questions. Number one, is she officially affiliated with Bardsdale Cemetery District?
Not to my knowledge. I don't believe she's affiliated with any of the cemetery districts. She's a resident of the El Rancho Simi Cemetery District.
Okay, in her letter, she states that the terminology of the director as opposed to a trustee is the proper terminology of the district. You know, I mean, I want us to be accurate, but that's why I asked my first question is she affiliated and does she have any standing to bring forward this comment as far as changing the titles?
Well, she doesn't have any official capacity, but as a resident, she can certainly bring things to our attention. And she is accurate that it should be Board of Trustees. So we can modify the resolution to reflect the accurate term.
If that is accurate, then I make the motion that we would modify the words to include the accurate term of their leadership team.
Sure.
Okay, thanks.
Totally agree.
Any other comments? Okay, open the public hearing. Michelle, any comments from the public,
No, we've received no request to comment.
other than those read by Kai from Teresa Jordan? Okay, close the public hearing, and we have a motion.
I'll make a motion to accept the staff recommendation with the one exception of changing director to trustee.
I'll second that motion, and I want to thank Teresa Jordan for catching that. Yeah.
And we have a second?
And she-
I second
She
it.
seconded.
Second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Any of those opposed? No. All right, so moving on to agenda item 13. All right, thank you, John.
Agenda item number 13 is the sphere of influence review for the Blanchard Santa Paula Library District.
Was that John's phone?
I'll just move through these slides quickly unless there are questions regarding the sphere of influence municipal service review requirements. Again, the determinations regarding spheres of influence. This is the boundary and service area of the Blanchard Santa Paula Library District. The star on the left there is the location of the Blanchard Library. It's located at 119 North 8th Street in Santa Paula. The Blanchard Santa Paula Library District provides library services within its service area, including the city of Santa Paula and surrounding unincorporated areas. And it operates the library, as mentioned here, within the city of Santa Paula. The commission, about 5 or 6 years ago, adopted a municipal service review regarding the Blanchard Santa Paula Library District upon discovery that the district existed. So this is a new-ish district for LAFCO to be reviewing, and this is the first review following that initial municipal service review and sphere determination. The sphere review is exempt from CEQA. Hearing notice was provided as required in LAFCO law, and no comments have been received. Staff recommends that the commission adopt the sphere of influence review and that the sphere review is exempt from CEQA. And that concludes my presentation. And I think we have, in case there are questions, of the library director, Justin Formanek. I think he's available on Zoom. No, he's not? Okay.
All right. All right, thank you, Andrea. Any comments or questions, concerns? Hearing none, I'll open the public hearing, and do we have any comments from the public?
No, we do not.
Okay, no comments, any recommendations?
I'll move
Can I
staff's recommendation.
So we have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, thank you. Moving on to agenda item 14. Another cemetery district.
Okay, this is agenda item number 14, LAFCO 2307S, the sphere of influence review for the El Rancho Simi Cemetery District. So similar to the last cemetery district, we did consult with district staff, the general manager, regarding any changes to the district services or their service area that would necessitate potential change to the sphere of influence. The district owns and operates the Simi Public Cemetery, located in the city of Simi Valley, and offers burial and other related services to most of the Simi Valley area, including Simi Valley as well as the surrounding areas. So I just want to clarify that I refer to it in the public, or in the staff report, as the Simi Public Cemetery. I did confirm with the general manager that the official name of the cemetery is the Simi Public Cemetery. There is the Pioneer section of the Simi Public Cemetery that causes some confusion apparently, but that's straight from the general manager. So I know that I bring that up because that was in one of the comment letters. So the existing needs for the services that the district provides are anticipated to continue within the boundaries of the district. So the district does have capacity for several years of below-ground cremation vault burials. They have plenty of space set aside for that. And they are more limited regarding the full casket burials. So they're doing a couple of different things. The first is that they're exploring about 100 plots that have been reserved for decades and decades, going back 50, 60, 70 years or more, to determine whether those plots can be considered abandoned and then resold or re-reserved for future internships. And I get the name
Intern,
Just-
internments.
And the other option too is that there is a paved road within the cemetery that they could take out and provide several more burial plots for full casket burial. So they do have options to continue these burial services for several years to come. So we did determine that the sphere of influence does continue to represent the existing and probable future boundaries of the service area and are recommending no changes to the sphere of influence. Again, it's exempt from CEQA, a sphere review. This was noticed per LAFCO law. And the recommendation is determine it's exempt from CEQA and adopt the resolution making determinations reviewing the sphere of influence and concluding that no update to the sphere is required. Thank you.
Any questions or concerns? Yes, Mary Ann?
So thank you for clarifying that the official name of the cemetery. The second item in Ms. Jordan's letter talks about the trustee versus director again. Is that the same?
I don't know in that regard. I confirmed the other one. I did not confirm this one, but we can confirm that if that is the case. We can modify the resolution.
You can do some minor changes
Sure.
even after we approve it. Okay, thank you. And then the last item I have on this is that several years ago, I know that there was a concern of the lack of awareness of where the burial plots actually were for the cemetery. I think it came out in the paper and everything on that. So has the agency confirmed where all people are buried and addressed all of those concerns?
For the most part. So the MSR that was prepared for this district, I think 12 years ago now, identified a number of deficiencies that were going on with the district. During the subsequent sphere reviews, including the last sphere review 5 years ago, we noted these deficiencies continued. And they were largely a function of the previous general manager that was there. And that included a lack of locating or, where these plots are. There was a number of issues there was just a number of issues. When we started our sphere review 5 years ago, they had recently replaced the general manager with the current general manager, who, as the commission determined, resolved pretty much all of the issues that were out there. And at the time, they were investigating. There's apparently markers that are buried that determine where the plots are, based on those markers. They were in the process of doing that, and apparently they were successful for the most part. I didn't check in with their progress, but I know they are working on it if they haven't resolved it already. I mean, that's one of the reasons why they've identified these 100 plots that are looking to, that might have been abandoned, just because the historical, nobody has claimed them over the years.
So what we're addressing today is just the sphere only?
Yes.
Okay, and would that concern of the deficiencies come up in the MSR, or does that come up in the sphere?
Neither. We will not be doing an MSR for this, the district, where it's solely looking at whether the sphere of influence continues to represent the existing and probable future boundaries of the district. And in that case, it does. So their effort to identify the location of these plots, that's their responsibility, something that they need to do to continue operating as they should be. It's not necessarily a LAFCO issue.
Okay, so I guess I'm confused on this one. So you said we're not doing an MSR like until the next cycle or ever?
Just until one is deemed necessary.
Okay, so I mean, another special district that we had really delved into the services that were provided and their actions and things like that. So I guess my question is, why don't we treat this cemetery district the same way that we treated the other special district and looking at their operational type things?
Because we didn't feel the need. The determinations that need to be made by the commission include the capacity of the district to continue to provide the services. So we looked into that, and the district does have the capacity to provide these services to continue to do so. And that would be an issue with identifying where all of these plots are located, which they've done. They've located the 100 or so that may be available for the future. They've also identified that they can remove the road and provide additional plots. So they have the capacity to continue to provide these services, regardless of whether they conduct the effort or finish the effort of identifying where all of the remaining existing plots are.
Okay.
I want to follow up on that. Because they hold their meetings in my office. So I'm within earshot of all of their conversations, but I'm not in the meetings. But I can tell you that they are definitely going in the right direction. It's a great group of people, and Teresa Jordan attends almost every one of their meetings even though she's not a voting member, she attends most of their meetings, and so she is, I'm going to say, really making sure everything's on track. And I know budget-wise, they're doing great too. So I know they were a concern many years back, but at this point, they're on the right track and going in the right direction. So,
And that's what we concluded.
yeah.
Any other questions of Kai? Hearing none, thank you, Kai. I'll open the public hearing, and do we have any comments from the
No,
public?
no comments.
No comments from the public, so I'll close the public hearing and entertain a motion.
I'll move approval.
I'll second.
With the condition of changing the title once that's confirmed?
Yeah,
Can
absolutely.
we do that? Okay.
Yes.
All right, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And any opposition? Hearing none, thank you. Moving on to item 15.
Yeah, this is the sphere of influence review for the Fillmore Piru Memorial District. We are recommending that this item be continued to the July 19th commission meeting.
Do you need a motion for that?
Yes.
I'll move approval.
I'll second.
Okay. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Hearing none, thank you very much. Moving on to agenda item 16. Kai?
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chair. This is LAFCO 2309S. It's the sphere of influence review for the Oxnard Harbor District. So the district was formed in 1937 as an independent district. It is governed by a 5-member board of directors, and it's actually a board of commissioners, isn't it? So we'll change that as well. And it owns and operates the Port of Hueneme. Its jurisdictional area includes most of the urbanized land within the sphere of influence for the city of Oxnard and, of course, the city of Port Hueneme. So it includes those two cities as well as the unincorporated beach communities, as well as the unincorporated areas to the north of Oxnard, including El Rio, Strickland Acres, Nyland Acres, and other areas up there. So we did consult with district staff and had a great conversation about the operations of the district and future plans. And based on the evaluation with the district staff, we concluded that here again, the sphere of influence does continue to represent the existing and probable future boundaries of the district, and we are recommending no changes to the sphere of influence for the district. And again, the review is exempt from CEQA. It was noticed consistent with state law. And the recommendation is that the commission adopt a sphere of influence, determining that the review is exempt from CEQA, and adopting the resolution that approving the sphere review and that no update to the sphere is necessary. And the general manager, Kristen Dekas, is here for any questions, I'm sure.
Any questions of the commission? Mary Ann?
I'd like to, do you want to close the hearing first? Okay.
Say again?
I'm going to wait till you close the hearing.
Okay, we'll open the public hearing. Any comments on the public hearing?
No, we do not have any comments.
Okay, close the public hearing.
Thank you.
Mary Ann?
Thank you. First of all, I'd like to thank Kai for meeting with our team. Kristen Dekas, who's the Port Director and CEO, is here, along with Letitia Austin, who's our Government Affairs person. And I thank you for the opportunity for our staff to talk with you and to go through the items before the agenda today. I would make a motion to approve this item with the correction of putting the correct titles in there.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. Any opposition? Hearing none. Thank you very much. Moving on to item 17. Another cemetery districts.
Mr. Chair. Yeah, this is the sphere review for the Piru Public Cemetery District, and we are recommending that it be continued to the July meeting.
Okay, I have a motion to approve and second. Please signify by saying aye for those in favor.
Aye.
Any opposition? Hearing none. Thank you. All right, item 18.
Agenda item 18 is the sphere of influence review for the Ventura Port District. We're also recommending that the sphere review be continued to the July
Approval.
meeting.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Hearing none. Thank you very much. And we've all done item 19, and so we're into item 20. Kai?
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chair. I just wanted to bring your attention to item number 20. These are the two letters that were approved by the commission. One to the United Water Conservation District supporting their groundwater treatment program project out near Point Magoo. So that letter is attached. That was signed by Chair Richards a couple of weeks ago. And then the second item is, of course, the letter of support from the commission for the a grant fund from the state, about $50 million for Metropolitan that will lead to improvements for Cayugas Municipal Water District. So those two are attached. And I did want to just report back regarding the conversation that the commission had at the last meeting regarding the proposed budget. And there was some discussion about the commission's reserve policies and whether they were adequate now, given that we have been spending down the fund balance, the unassigned fund balance. So the commission's reserve policies are, there's a 10% contingency built into the budget. There is a $100,000 litigation reserve account. And then the other policy is that the commission retain 60 days operating expenses in an unrestricted fund that can be used for anything if necessary. So when compared with other LAFCOs, that's actually pretty good. Some LAFCOs go beyond that. Some LAFCOs are setting aside 50% of all operating expenses in reserve. Some are going as low as just a 4% reserve. But most of them are about where we are. So there are pretty conservative reserve funds in the budget. My only thought after looking into this more is the 60 days of funds, 60 days operating expenses. There's a provision in LAFCO law that if something catastrophic happens and the commission runs out of money, the commission can ask the county for a loan. The county approves the loan, then the commission bases its next year's budget on repaying that loan. My only concern is if the commission finds itself in that situation, that 60 days operating expenses might not be enough to see that process through. It would take action by the commission, it would take consultation with the county, then action by the county board of supervisors, and then the money actually transferred over. The commission may want to consider increasing that 60 days operating expenses to maybe 90 days to provide that buffer to make sure that there's adequate time and funds to see that process through. So at your direction, I can bring back some policies, some options for policies to reflect that situation.
Mr. Chair?
Yes, Mary Ann.
I mean, do we follow under GASB at all? I mean, as far as, policies? And is there something in there that talks about, the reserve? I mean, to me, I'd like to see more of a reserve than 60 days. That doesn't seem quite enough. But I'm wondering if there's something that gives us some parameters of how to address this situation.
Well, it's like, as I said, it's up to each commission. LAFCO law doesn't actually spell out what the reserve should be. According to the Government Finance Officers Association, they recommend 2 months operating revenue. And, yeah, but then they also say, this is just a rule of thumb. Each local government should set its own policies for those reserves. As I said, we do have a 10% contingency, $100,000 litigation, plus 60 days operating expenses. I think that if the commission wants to increase that to 90 days, then that would allow that fallback of getting a loan from the county if necessary.
If I could, Mr. Chair, I think I'm comfortable with the 2 months. We're not really an operational district, unlike the harbor or the sheriff's department or even a park district. We're not providing direct services to constituents. And I'm trying to identify in my mind what a catastrophic event that would drain the resources of LAFCO and put us into peril would mean. But I'll tell you, the County Board of Supervisors would be inclined, I believe, to support if that type of an event happened. So 2 months to me for a non-operational district seems adequate, and I'll just stop there.
Any other comments? Yes,
I,
Paul?
I agree. I was wondering the exact same thing. And what sort of situation would entail LAFCO needing to use the reserve funds and 2 months seems sufficient, so, to me.
I mean, the only circumstance I can envision is either a very costly lawsuit that exceeds the $100,000 legal reserve, or more than one lawsuit. I mean, the chances of that are, I would imagine, slim. But that's really the only situation that I can see
Right.
where LAFCO.
And in the situation of a lawsuit, I think it would come before the commission. Commission would approve legal fees and attorneys, and at that point, I think we could start preparing for additional resources.
Depending on the timing, yes. Yeah, absolutely. If we had multiple lawsuits be filed at the beginning of the fiscal year, then that might be a concern. But as Commissioner Gorell said, there is always the option of going to the county and asking for a loan.
I have a question of Mr. Barnes. Is that something the county would entertain if that should occur? I'm just curious because we're a separate entity from the county. We're not the county.
From my legal perspective, yes, the county could. I mean, it would be a public purpose to loan the money. I mean, it would obviously be a policy issue, but legally, the county certainly could do that.
I guess I recently had an occasion to approach the county for a loan for an independent district. And it said it would be a gift of public funds to do that. So I'm wondering where it says that the county can loan money to a separate agency. And I'd be interested, if you can bring that back, that'd be awesome.
I may have misheard, but I could have sworn Kai mentioned that's referenced in LAFCO law.
Yes, it's in LAFCO law, and it's specific that the commission can request the loan of the county.
You can request a loan of the county, but can the county actually do that? And where is that say?
I mean, if it's in the government code, I would assume that the presumption is the state could do that. Even though it's within LAFCO law, the government derives its authority from the same government code. I could do further research, but that's, sitting here today, I would say it would, my assumption is it would be lawful for the county to make that loan. Wouldn't have to, but like I said, I'd be happy to look at that further.
Yeah, I know this is not a action item on here, right? But if we go to a different reserve policy, is that a revision of the commission handbook, or would that be brought back for further discussions? So,
It would be a change to the handbook. It would be a policy change.
yeah.
Come back.
And I'd be happy to bring back options if the commission wants to consider different options, including make no changes. And I could put forth a couple of suggested changes.
I mean, it sounds like we have some, topics that we'd like to talk about regarding this. So maybe we could do it as a future agenda item to bring it back to talk about it? You don't have to do it right now at this budget hearing.
No, I'm just kind of feeling what the commission desires.
Yeah, I mean, if that's the will of the board, to bring it back as a future agenda item.
Personally, I'm not sure, is it really necessary? I mean, 2 months seems, I mean, I'd almost echo Jeff's comments with regards to the fact that we are somewhat quasi-public. We don't provide specific services to constituents of that nature. Seems like 2 months would be an adequate amount, but any further comments?
Well, my question is for legal, is how much, since this isn't agendized, I'm just wondering, like, how much of this conversation, because we're sort of debating and deciding whether, so I'm just wondering how much of that can happen right now, or if this needs to be agendized, just so that we can all talk about it and make sure that it was publicly noticed. So I'm just feeling like we're starting, because I mean, I have all kinds of thoughts, but it's not an agendized item. And we did talk about the budget, but we're no longer on the budget, so I'm just.
That's a good point. I mean, right now, I'd say it's fine because you're talking about whether to provide staff direction, but you're right, now would be a good time to start thinking about cutting off that discussion and just agendizing it for, as a Brown Act item.
Okay. Thank you, Kai. Appreciate it.
So just to confirm, we're going to bring this back as an agenda item. I think it'd be helpful to know what government code enables the loan, if
Yeah.
that is the case. And then secondly, I'd be interested to know if this has happened before with any other LAFCOs in the counties in which they reside. So that 2 points would be interesting to me.
Okay,
And a potential change to the handbook.
yeah, absolutely.
Do you need a vote on that to bring the agenda item forward?
I don't think we need a vote.
I'll place it on a future
Just a
agenda.
direction.
Thank you.
And I think to make sure that we can talk about both the 10% contingency and the reserve when it comes back, that would be my request, because I have thoughts on that.
Yeah, absolutely. It will be just, yeah, we'll look at all potential changes to the policies, and that'll include both.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much, Kai.
Yeah, that concludes my update. And the next meeting will be July 19th.
Okay, with that, say again.
Was that also item 21?
Yes, that was part of the update. Yes, thank you.
21. Okay. At this point in time, I believe we will stand adjourned.
No. You have commissioner comments.
Commission comment.
Would you
I'm
have a
sorry.
comment?
Where is that on the agenda? Missed that. Okay, commission comments.
He hasn't called on me.
Missed a page. So. Any comments by the commission? Yes, Mary Ann.
Thank you. Mr. Loma, I was wondering, I know that the Fox Canyon Groundwater Management Agency lawsuit has now hit the streets with all the residents in Oxnard and that overlay the Oxnard Pleasant Valley Basin. I'm wondering, does LAFCO play a role in any of this as far as the adjudication and the water rights? I mean, there's a lot of agencies that are providing water here, and I'm wondering, there's 3,000 does that have been named in this lawsuit, and I'm wondering, if LAFCO has any position or interest in how that is all coming to be.
Thankfully, that's all outside of LAFCO's purview, so.
Okay, thanks.
Any other comments? None at this point in time. I'll consider adjournment. All right, we are adjourned. Thank you.